Hi everyone, my name is Doug Pinkham and I'm president of the Public Affairs Council in Washington, D.C. We're an organization that's been around nearly 60 years, actually created at the suggestion of President Eisenhower, who felt the business community needed to learn to be more strategic about how it dealt with government and greater society. What's interesting is that we're right on K Street. Our members are corporations, big and small, as well as associations, and yet we're both nonpartisan and non-political, which frankly is a really great niche to have in Washington these days. We have roughly 630 member organizations, but in total about 7,000 people take advantage of our programs each year. Those programs include training, executive education, advice, and sharing of best practices and case studies between different companies and different industries. Some of you may be wondering, why would I want to come to Washington in 2012, in an election year where partisanship is so bad and everyone feels so cynical, and Congress, isn't going to get a lot accomplished. We hope they pass a budget, but what's the point of coming to a fly-in? It's actually a really good opportunity to come to Washington, and one reason is because a lot of groups aren't doing fly-ins, or they're not making the right pitch. They're not handling it in the way you guys will be handling it. I also think if you have a positive story to tell that focuses on your industry's key issues of safety, security, and support for key issues that congressmen care about, you've got a good story to tell, and you're going to be able to break through the noise and probably be heard better this year than next year. There are a couple of techniques you can use to try to cut through the noise in Washington, because obviously there's a lot of other advocates, a lot of other organizations trying to get the attention of the folks on Capitol Hill. I think one of the most effective methods is to put a human touch on what you're there to talk about. Don't overwhelm them with facts and figures. It's fine to have a leave-behind document that explains the impact of your industry or how many people you employ. That's all good stuff. But go in there and tell stories about how proposed legislation or the absence of legislation will affect your ability to prosper, to grow, to create jobs, or to help the government or that member of Congress accomplish their goals. That's an extremely important thing to remember at a time when everyone else is giving 19 reasons why you need to support my legislation. One of the key components of any type of advocacy is leadership by CEOs and others in senior management in a company. I know you're busy people, those of you who are running businesses out there, but it really does need to be a priority for a number of reasons. First of all, in terms of just the basics, a member of Congress or a U.S. Senator is going to take a phone call from a CEO. When the assistant says there's a CEO of a company, big or small, they're going to want to listen to you because they know you employ people, that you're influential in the local community. So they don't want to do anything to tick you off. So that's access, and that's worth a lot. Secondly, when you make the point to get engaged, you're sending a very important signal to the rest of your senior management team, your rank and file employees, but also your suppliers, your customers, and local communities, that getting engaged in politics matters, that it's a priority for you and ought to be a priority for them as well. So to sum things up now, let me leave you with 6 quick bits of advice to remember when you're taking part in a legislative fly-in. First of all, homework. Do your homework in advance. Find out what the member of Congress's key issues are and what committees they serve on, so that you can be a credible person to be talking to them about key issues. Number 2 is be helpful. Again, understand the members' priorities and where there's synergy between your priorities and theirs. And when you talk about your key issues, say, here's how we think we can help you achieve your goals, not here's what you can do to help me achieve my goals. So being helpful is very important. Third, be respectful. Yes, everyone's cynical about Washington and Washington politics, but honestly, 90% of these folks are dedicated public servants. You may not agree with them on every issue, but they really are in Washington for the right reasons. So give them the respect they deserve. If you happen to not be meeting with a member, which is very likely, but meeting with a staffer, that individual may be 25 years old, They may look like your kid, they may look like they're 18, but they could be a very influential person to help that member of Congress form an opinion or take a position on a key issue. So treat them like an adult with great respect. Fourth, be nonpartisan. Everyone has their own political views about who should be reelected or who should be defeated, given on the issue, given what your own political beliefs are. You got to put that aside and put on the hat for your own company and for your own industry and stick to the issues at hand. You don't have an hour-long meeting, so you really want to make sure you've got your key points communicated. Fifth, tell a story. Yes, you have facts and figures. That's real important stuff. Put that in the leave behind that people can read later. Spend more time talking about how legislation or proposed legislation affects you as a business person. So tell your personal story, how you got the business started, how you dealt with adversity, how you've coped with the recession, how you tried to create jobs in the face of economic hardship. Everyone, including members of Congress, relate better to stories than to facts and figures. And the sixth tip I will give you is to be thankful. Show good manners, thank them for their time, let them know how much you appreciate it. Be sure when you go back home, send them an email or send them a letter thanking them again for spending the time listening to you and what a good experience it was for you to listen to them about their issues. You can then re-summarize what the key takeaways were. If by some chance you run into that member of Congress or a staffer a year later at some social event or some political fundraiser, remind them that you met and then just focus on how much you appreciated the fact that they spent the time. This will separate you from an awful lot of lobbyists who never take the time to say thank you and show appreciation. Again, members of Congress are human beings too. They remember stuff like that.